Yes, sir. You listen to 1690 AM The One. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday, man. I don't know if it's global warming or what, or if it's the drought, or if God is just, man, I'm going to give y'all a sunny day this day on this February. Really haven't had a winter. I got a very special guest in the house. Usually my guests, they bring their own, they bring their own theme music. I don't know if did you bring any theme music before I introduce you? Don't say anything. I'm not even gonna bring up the mic. Did you bring your theme music, man? He has no theme music. Most of my guests, I like to let them introduce themselves because sometimes I stutter. I have a problem with the English language. It just my true language. I don't know my real name, my true language. Oh God. I'm going to let him introduce himself because I don't want, he might have his own adjective, verbs, or prepositional phrases that he want to say before his name. Sir, who are you?
I'm Pastor Eric Butler.
He a pastor?
I'm a pastor.
Oh, okay. Let me see, make sure you get his mic up real quick because, we are live. Why don't you go say that again one more time?
I'm Pastor Eric Butler.
Okay. I'll move that mic up. There we go. And then I'm getting feedback from the other room. We close this door. I just turn the heat up. Let me turn it down. Get it warm in here. So, Pastor, I didn't know you even had that role. So now I got to ask some different questions. Since like I said, the station started with a prayer. The very next day, God answered, and we've been in motion ever since. So every chance I get in front of audience or whomever sitting in that chair, I always, testify first of why we're here and why we're able to, let the community know what's going on. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. This is a wonderful facility, and you're doing great things, and God's doing great things, and I could testify, too. Everything that I've accomplished or think I'm going to accomplish, it's because of God, so I could testify to that, too.
Okay. Hey, let's get right into it. Who is Eric Butler? Reverend Eric Butler, excuse me, or is it Doctor? I mean,
you could just call me Eric.
I can call you Doctor. Are you a doctor? Have you got a doctor title?
No, my sidekick that's with me here today, Aaron Evans. You can call him Doctor,
right?
But I'm just Eric. That's all you can call me, just Eric. I'm glad to be here, and my first opportunity to be here on 1690 AM Community Access Radio. I am a New York native and moved to Nebraska in the mid-'80s. I was brought here by Union Pacific Railroad and have been working for Union Pacific Railroad ever since. And I've been active in the church all my life. And in 1997, we were led to start a Bible study, which ultimately grew into a ministry. So in addition to working for Union Pacific and being an executive for Union Pacific, I'm also a pastor of Joy of Life Ministries, Church of God in Christ, there on the corner of 56th and Sorensen. Right, you can't miss us.
Right. Hey, yeah, Sorensen. Yeah, I know. I seen that church for sure. I didn't know you was operating that.
Yes, sir. So I'm a husband of one wife, father of 3 children, 1 grandson.
Okay.
But I'm both active in the corporate world and active in the church.
Now, the church, I mean, how did you get involved with the church?
Yeah, I'm a church kid. I'm a PK. I grew up in the church in New York. I grew up in New York City, the inner cities of New York. Omaha is kind of like a suburb compared to where I grew up. I know we have some parts of Omaha that people think are tough, but where I grew up, this would be considered suburbs.
Right.
But being a preacher's kid, we were kept around the church and in the church, which I think has been a large part of who I am and who all of my siblings are. Friends I grew up with were killed, went to jail, strung out on drugs, but the church kept me out of that and out of that life. And so I literally grew up in the church, was a musician, so I played organ, piano, things from my father's church, and that led me to going to college and haven't looked back.
Okay. So, college, what's your educational track?
I went to school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a school that a lot of people probably haven't heard of out here, called Carnegie Mellon. It's an engineering and technical school. So engineers and technical people know about it. Computer
Right.
people know about it. And so I got an engineering degree. I worked in engineering for a couple of years, then went back and got a graduate degree, and then came to Union Pacific here in Omaha in the mid-'80s after graduate school.
Okay. What you get your grad degree in? Is it, I'm trying to connect the Godism and the corporatism. I'm trying to connect it. Well, I mean, so what do you study in grad school?
I got basically a master's in industrial administration or business administration, basically an MBA. So I got that in graduate school.
Right.
Met my wife, my lovely wife. We'll be married 28 years. I think I better get that right. 28 years this year. Met her while I was in school, and we got married. I actually got married while I was in graduate school, and after we graduated, we were led. I believe we were led because I had no interest in coming to Omaha. Omaha is not in my dreams. Might be in
Right.
your dreams, but it wasn't in my dreams.
Right. I was forced to hear, but my parents and stuff. So
You know, this wasn't even in my field of vision. I was nowhere. But I believe God led us to Omaha. And actually, when we came, we only intended to stay a couple years, and then we intended to move back east, where both my wife and I are from, and our whole families are from. But one thing led to another, and we were connected and kept out here, I believe, by the will of God, and God has blessed me in the corporate world, and He's also blessed us in the church world also.
cool. But why Omaha? I mean, was your wife from Omaha? You had cousin, or we come out to look at some corn? I mean, what?
We didn't know anybody in Omaha. And as I said, I believe God led us to come out to Omaha. When I came to Omaha, I actually had about 10 or 12 job offers.
Okay.
So I had job offers from Ford, from GM, like who's companies. I had job offers back in New York City, where I'm
Right.
from. But when I say it was God, because we were really kind of led this way. We came for a visit. I got an offer from Union Pacific, and they invited my wife and I out for a weekend. And we came for the weekend, really just to get away, because we didn't have no money. Kind of weekend to get away.
Right.
And we talked to a bunch of people out here. We actually went to church out here when we were here on that Sunday, and which was kind of unusual because the people at Union Pacific, they didn't expect that, because we said we wanted to find a church. So they actually took us to a church. It was someone who was Catholic that took us to a church. We went to a Church of God in Christ, and I think that was an unusual experience for them. But, one thing led to another, and when we left here, we from that weekend, we kind of said, I think we're supposed to be in Omaha.
Okay.
And as I said, we had only planned to be here a couple years, and then we were going to go and start our life for real somewhere else.
Right.
But, that was 27 years ago.
Man. Okay. Well, sometimes God works in non-mysterious ways. He already has a plan. Yeah. And that's a good. Well, I'm glad you stuck around for sure. We're glad you're here. Corporate. You mentioned corporate. You mentioned UP. We're not talking up. He didn't get the joke. UP means up.
Okay.
All right, all right, all right. Now we're talking about Union Pacific. Now, how did you get? You say you got a job offer, young engineer.
Yeah, I was an engineer, so I started with Union Pacific in 1986. I started at pretty much an entry-level position. I started in the accounting department.
Okay.
And they, the person that hired me over the objections of a lot of other people. And the other people had no idea what an engineer was doing in an accounting department.
Right.
And so my first couple of years were pretty tough. In fact, I would say in my first 6 months, there were a lot of times when I kind of looked at my wife and I said, what did we do? Why am I here? Because
Right.
it really wasn't turning out how I thought it was. But the one thing I've learned in my life, and I've learned both from my parents, my grandparents, I learned in the church, is you got to have perseverance. And you can't. I use a phrase sometimes where people are wimps. You can't be a wimp and give up just because you got some tough times, because everybody's got some storms, and so
Right.
you got to just hang in there and weather the storm. And so I did that, and I was given an opportunity to actually move to St. Louis in a promotion. And I moved to St. Louis for a couple of years with the company. Then they moved me back to Omaha with another promotion. They moved me from Omaha after a couple of years to Pennsylvania with another promotion. Then I moved back to Omaha again. So throughout my career, I've been fortunate to be given the opportunity to do a lot of different things, and reaching up to this point now where I'm with one of the top 4 or 5 people at Union Pacific. So I consider myself blessed, but I also consider that it's with God that has helped me to do that.
Right. You mentioned, and one of the things that I look at, I love my community, and far as taking ourselves to the next step, you talked about self-obstacles. How did you get over those self-obstacles? I know you say you persevered, but and that's a good quality in order to get over those self-obstacles, because we're going to have obstacles, but sometimes we put them in front of ourselves. What are some of the examples, especially for young people that's getting in the workforce? My son's in college now; he's a freshman, and just for even those in the workforce now that want to blame others for whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. Like I said, you need to persevere, but you also need discipline, right? And discipline is simply, once you kind of set your mind to do it, you're going to structure yourself, and you're going to do it. When you commit to doing something, you're going to do it. So people can depend on you, no matter how big, no matter how small it is. People can depend on you. I also learned a large part of success is relationships. And I've learned that we in our community, particularly if people are not in the community, they don't look like you don't know them, you don't know mama and them, you tend to kind of put up a shield,
Right.
And often people, particularly in the corporate community and for minorities in the corporate community, people want to get to know who you are.
Right.
And we have an approach, ain't none your business. And, we put up a shield.
Right.
And I've learned you have to find ways to build relationships with people and let people get to know you.
Right.
And get comfortable with you. You don't have to change yourself. Be who you are, because people like authenticity. But let people get to know you, who you are, and that helps with the foundation for relationships.
Interesting. I know that's one of the things that that's necessary in this this environment. It took relationships, young and old, seen and unseen, in order to manifest this. What's next for you? I mean, you like a young guy. Your partner over here.
I'm a grandfather.
No. You got his warm-ups over here. I got a basketball out in my car. It's about 60 degrees.
Bring it on. At our church, we have some of the young men at our church a couple of years ago. they challenged us to some hoops on the court.
Right.
And I got to tell you, the game started out, they were fast breaking. I think they even were jamming on us, running
Right.
up and down the court. But see, we had the wisdom and we had the weight, if I can put it that way. So we started putting the body on them, and no blood, no foul, and we actually won the game. So you better be careful what you're asking for.
Right. And like I said, man, we should live for hundreds of years. So I know you're still a young man for sure. What's next for UP? I know you guys are all over the United States. How many countries do you roll in?
Yeah, we UP has a great future ahead of it, and I would encourage anybody that's listening in our serving area. We're constantly looking for good people. We probably hire several thousand people a year across our system. Our railroad tracks basically go from the Missouri River or the Mississippi River west to the West Coast Pacific Ocean, and from Mexico to the Canadian border. So any city, any state you could think of kind of in the western part of the country, we have people in. We have about 45,000 employees. The headquarters, of course, is here in Omaha, and we have about 4,000 employees here in the Omaha metropolitan area of our headquarters, but we got 40,000 employees elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So we've got a bright future. Our business is growing. We just in 2012, just recently here in January, we announced record performance. Record revenue, record profits, record customer satisfaction. Mm-hmm. So we're doing well, and we think we have a bright future. So if people want to work hard and they want a good opportunity, go to our website www.up.com and look us up, and there are opportunities. About a third of our business starts or ends in another country. So we don't have operations in other countries. We have employees in Mexico. We have employees in Asia. We have employees in Canada. But our business starts or stops in there. So we are constantly working internationally to facilitate international movements of goods. Later this year, I got actually 2 weeks. I'm doing about a 6-country tour of Asia over about 2 weeks later on in this year. I'll be going to Japan, China, Korea, Singapore, Taipei, Hong Kong. Where else am I going? But that's because our business is international in nature.
Okay, so you're actually developing rail systems in...
We're not developing rail systems, but what we do is we work with shipping companies, we work with railroads, trucking companies, because if something is manufactured in Africa, for example, and they want to sell it in the U.S., it's got to get here, right?
Right.
The only way it gets to Omaha, it's got to go. So if something's manufactured in Ghana, in Kumasi, Ghana, it's got to go over the road to Accra, Ghana, get put on a ship. Ship will go to the East Coast. It'll get taken off the ship, get put on an East Coast railroad. It'll come to an interchange in Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, Memphis, put on our railroad, and then come, the rest of the way out in our territory. So we work that whole, what we call logistics supply chain.
Okay, cool. Now, I remember when the first railroad, wasn't that back when they first went across the country? Wasn't that Union Pacific?
Yeah, Union Pacific. We had the Golden Spike. We celebrated our 150th year anniversary in 2012.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln actually created us. He created the railroad, and on July 2nd, 150 years ago, and it was actually right at the height of the threat of the Civil War, which ultimately happened, and he did it, frankly, to try and keep the Union together.
Right.
But that of course didn't happen, and he didn't live to see the completion of the railroad. But the Union Pacific and also the Central Pacific, which built from San Francisco, we connected together at the Golden Spike in Utah, and that was the first transcontinental railroad.
Cool, cool. Because I was just wondering, because I know you see you operate west of the Mississippi. I thought Union Pacific, when you was everywhere. I mean, you come in here wearing New York.
Yeah, New York.
You know what I mean? You come in here wearing New York. I thought Union Pacific go up to New York, but it's obviously you do some collaboration with some other rail companies.
That's the right word. We are in collaboration with other companies. About 40% of about 45% of our business, we work with another railroad or another company to collaborate. So a lot of people don't even know. So if you ship something by UPS, you call up UPS, United Parcel Service, and ship a box, or maybe even FedEx.
Right.
And you're shipping a box, or you go down to the post office to ship a box, that may ultimately end up on Union Pacific Railroad because we work with them to put it into what we call containers and then move it over the railroad depending on where it's going. So we work in collaboration with other people.
Interesting. So when you go overseas, you basically develop a transportation logistics in order for products and products to get over to this. I like that.
If you look at all of this wonderful equipment that's here in this studio, some of it came from Asia, some of it came from Europe. I would bet every single thing you have in here moved on a railroad.
I bet, yeah.
So because it gets put in a container at the manufacturing plants,
right,
put on a ship, and then moves to one of our ports on the West Coast or the East Coast, then moves by railroad to wherever it's going inside the country.
Now, 1690 AM family, we're talking to Eric Butler. I don't even know, he didn't come in with his theme music. I don't even know his title. All I know he's Reverend Dr. Butler. So what's your title at UP?
Yeah, so at UP, I'm the Executive Vice President of Marketing and Sales. So I have all of the commercial marketing arrangements. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Union Pacific.
So marketing, that's what we do here. Oh, man, we got to connect. I like that. God working in mysterious ways.
My partner that's here, he's the director of all of our military business.
Military?
Yeah, so all of our government, military, so all the top secret stuff that he can't tell you about, or else he would have to shoot you, like when they're moving all of the stuff overseas, the tanks and, and all the missiles. He does that. So you need to ask him a couple questions.
Did he say director?
He said director of military.
Can I get a copy of this? Because he just promoted me.
Yeah,
so I need to make sure when I go back, I go.
You got both of them on record, right? Yeah. Well, you got them, man. Hey, we got that digital mark here. So what is your role? I mean, I've been knowing you in the community a while. I mean, for a long while because you've been helping out in the community.
I appreciate that.
So what's your role over at UP?
I am privileged enough. My name is Aaron Evans, and I'm privileged enough to support the military and what we do across our network in collaboration with the other roads. We move our troops, the warfighters, to the training center in California where they train. They come back to their units in Fort Riley, Texas, and Fort Carson, Colorado, and then they deploy. And so we move their tanks, the Humvees, the ammunition to the port. They put it on the ship, and they meet the warfighters over in country.
Man.
And so we move all their equipment, the M1 tank that weighs 136,000 pounds. We put 2 of those on a rail car. And we can often, Mr. Butler has showed us when he's going down the highway, he reminds us that he's always out there. He's always looking for opportunities, as we should be looking for opportunities.
If I see anything on the highway, I fire them because I'm like, that should be moving by the railroad.
Right. Hey.
He has someone take a picture for us, and then he sends it to us. So we're, you know when your boss is on vacation,
right?
Like, yeah, he's on vacation. Woo, let your hair down. Right. Well, he takes a picture of it and then he sends it. So you'll be at work and you're getting things done. You'll look up. And then there'll be you're failing. And then there'll be a picture of, 3 Humvees on a flatbed truck.
Right.
And it'll be going across Iowa.
Right.
And they'll say, well, why didn't you secure this business? Well, it's not. We can't do it all.
Don't you think the director of military ought to be securing that business?
Yeah, I mean, man, come on, man.
Don't you agree with me?
You are the director of military.
Well,
I need to
excited.
salute you, man. Come on, man. I mean,
I'm excited. And
He knows 4-star generals
So-
and all that stuff. And
man, you're a big guy.
he's a big
But
shot.
he come here in warm up zone.
Let's take the focus back to the man. Right.
Right.
The
So when I go with him to visit the military, they all have their security guards and these guns and all this stuff, and I can't make any sudden moves. But, they go like that, so I got to be just chill out.
So you the man, the truth, the legend, huh?
No. Going back to the man and the opportunity. It was 2 years ago. I've been on my job for 5 years.
Okay.
And he's challenged me, as long as the rest of my coworkers, in motivating us to push beyond limits and to continue to do, and you can handle multiple things. One of the questions that I hope that you ask him is, how does he balance having 2 full-time jobs, well 3, because his wife she's very busy as well, and you can see it's always wonderful to see co-pastor Cynthia Butler with him, or actually he's with her,
right?
And because we don't get to see that. He's usually the one pointing the finger.
Right. Well, hey.
So, but what I was going to say to you was that he's challenged us, and he challenged me last year to a goal that we call them stretch goals typically, but mine was super stretched.
Okay.
And it was exciting. He's shaking his head now, but it was exciting because when we got to the end of the year, and we didn't get 100% of the goal.
He failed.
Right, but we had a large portion of the goal in a time where the economy for the military, their budgets were decreased.
Right.
But they saw where it was more economical and more feasible to move by rail. They're very truck centric. So they had an opportunity to say, hey, we need to save some money. And we'd been knocking on their doors and say, give us a chance, give us a chance. But when that opportunity came, we were able to deliver.
Right.
And I just happened to be the fortunate one in front, because there's a team of 15 people that support me that actually make it happen.
And he got a big bonus if you need a donation for your radio station.
Oh, yes. It
hasn't been deposited yet, and I just got a new title.
Hey,
right.
You can write it off, baby. We are a 501c3.
So, but I say all I have to say is the opportunity. He's afforded myself and many opportunities, not only at work but at the church and in the community, to participate. And I know that's the reason why while he's here and I was asked to accompany him, is that it is about work-life balance, about community and being involved. So I commend you for starting the radio station. I commend this opportunity. I appreciate.
Hey man, I appreciate the love. You sound like you nervous over there.
No, it's my voice that I didn't want to use.
Hey, but that was a good question, because when I look at brothers and sisters that do multiple things, it kind of reminds me of Paul Robeson. Are you familiar with Paul Robeson?
I know Paul Robeson.
Personally? Do you know him personally?
So you remind me of Paul Robeson, one that had many great talents, master of all. So how do you balance that?
I guess it depends on your view of purpose, right? Mm-hmm. If you believe you have a purpose and you're here to fulfill a purpose, you're going to structure your life and you're just going to be focused on doing that. So I fundamentally believe we have a purpose here in the ministry. So me being a pastor, our church, we have a community service agency called Purpose Driven Advocacy Center. That's what my wife, co-pastor Cynthia, runs. Does great, fantastic work with youth and with adults, adult learning and employability. Unbelievable success rates in helping people get jobs, no matter what your background. I mean, you could have, felonies, whatever. They do a fantastic job of helping people get jobs. So I believe that we have a purpose there. I believe we have a purpose in the church. And then I believe I have a purpose at work, not just to do a excellent job for my company, which I'm going to be focused on doing, but also to be a standard bearer, if you will, in my company, to say you don't have to be cutthroat. You don't have to try and tear somebody down to get up. You don't have to be underhanded.
Yeah.
You could have integrity. You could do things the right way. You could support everybody. You could advocate for diversity. I think if you were to come into our company, you would see I have been a passionate advocate for diversity for all of my career, and I'm not ashamed of
Right.
that. And then also, I believe you could help set the environment. You could be a thermostat instead of a thermometer. You know,
Right.
thermometer just measures, right?
Right.
But you could be a thermostat where you're setting the environment and the temperature. And so I even look at our company, and today inside UP, we respect and accept people of all types, diversity of all types, but I'm particularly proud as it pertains to religion. We have different employee groups that celebrate the God that they believe in different ways on company property, and it's not a big deal. And it started because I told people they wanted to pray. So yeah, go ahead and pray. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so it really has changed or helped change, I think, our culture
Right.
in very ways. And so when I look at that, I don't look at myself as having a lot of jobs or a tough job. I look at myself as filling the purpose for which I'm here.
Right. Well, I mean, it seems like it's natural to you then.
It is very much so natural.
Right. And that's how we should live. I mean, we got to find naturally what we love to do.
Now, I want to get a plug in because we're having an election coming up for the primary, right?
Yeah, mayor, right?
Mayor, and
City
it
council.
looks like city council, and it looks like if the Nebraska legislature does this thing with the Omaha school board, you'll be electing new school board members. So
Right.
I want to put a plug in. Everybody needs to make sure they're registered to vote,
Right.
and they vote. You know, that is. I tell people at my church, if they ain't voting, they sinning. So
Right. Right.
so
Yeah,
you
we
gotta vote.
Yeah, we have had a lot of ancestors that have died for that right. I've been blessed to run many campaigns. I ran Mayor Fahey campaign office, North campaign office. I ran Larry Bradley campaign to run for Board of Regents. So I know how very important that politicians play, legislation and statutes play on the direction of our lives for sure. So you'll make sure you follow the doctor, the reverend, the VP, the executive order. Because, I mean, that's the only way we're really going to change our paradigm. You mentioned your wife work. See, my background, my degree is in behavioral science and probation officer, and I've always counseled.
Probation officer, you good for him then. You need to.
So, I've done jail groups with my current job with the WCA, and I do domestic violence groups currently right now. Especially when you come to the jail groups, we got 3 promises, I think. And since you're a reverend, a pastor, doctor, executive, VP, you probably could tell me. Now, I lost my train of thought.
So, you know, I admire people who are involved in jail work, jail ministry.
Right.
We have had an affiliation with Douglas County Corrections through Chaplain Morris Jackson for years. My wife and I actually used to go in Douglas County Corrections at least once a month, and we've gotten so busy we can't do that anymore. But we still do support Chaplain Jackson. But people who are in prison, whether it's federal, whether it's state, whether it's county, they're people too.
Yeah.
All right. And so the truth be known, it's only by the grace of God that some of us are not sitting there. Because the truth be known, some of us probably have done things in our younger ages. But again, it's just by the grace of God. You know, we were saved to go down one path instead of going down another. So they're people too. I don't have. I'm not naive. There are people who want to change. In prison, there are people in prison who don't want to change.
Right.
But the key thing is to try and facilitate and help and work with those that want to. We have I tell a story sometime. We actually have a member of our church who actually was sentenced under federal sentencing guidelines about 4 or 5 years ago um, for a drug issue. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, involved in the wrong thing, and they were sentenced, and so they were in the federal penitentiary. And we got a chance to visit them. I got a chance to visit them at least once. They're not here in Nebraska. And the thing that is exciting to me is that I know that person's life has changed. And you know how I know? It's because while they have been in prison, they are probably a more faithful financial supporter of the church than some of the people that come.
Right.
It's not a lot of money because, the prison jobs, you
Right,
make whatever,
right.
50 cents an
Yeah,
hour,
yeah.
30 cents an hour.
Yeah.
But the concept of tithes, they take whatever little they make,
Right.
and through the correction system, we get a check from the Federal Department of Corrections for their tithes.
Right.
And,
That's a
and we've been
blessing.
getting that throughout the year. So I know that person has been changed.
Right.
And so you can't say everybody in prison is bad. The people in prison need an opportunity to change.
Right now. And the brothers that they're automatically discriminated against, and getting back to my point, life, death is two promises of God. And I believe that if we manifest our God-given talents and skills, that's another promise that He also gives.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about? We talked about your basketball skills.
I haven't played in years, so and I'm old. Trust me, I'm on the northern side of 50. So.
No, man, you good. So what's your vision? I mean, since you're a young man, what's your vision? What's next?
I'm just going to keep doing what God has me to do. Keep working at the church. We have some great things going on at the church. They're a joy of life. They're 56 in Sorensen. If any of your listeners want to stop by, I'd encourage them to stop by. We're an open, loving church, and a lot of great things we're doing there. At UP, I'm committed to UP. We got a great company. I have an accountability, and I'm connected to achieving the goals and opportunities that we have there. I want to see our company continue to grow and evolve. I want to see our company in the future. It's going to look better than it looks right now,
Right.
as someone said. And I want to continue to be support my family, support my grandson, and whatever other grandkids that may come along, and let them grow to be good adults. And one of these days soon, I'm going to be retiring,
Right.
and then they're going to enjoy life.
Man, hey man, you can never retire. Never retire. That's when people die. If they retire, stop working for God. Then God said, "Man, I'm going to bring you back on home. Keep on working because man, we need brothers and sisters with that spirit, that drive, and that initiative, and ultimately that love, because love conquer all, and that's what's necessary in our community. So I really appreciate. You coming in today, and I'm glad I stayed consistent, persistent. Because I think the first time we met, they gave me I had an open forum, and you know how we get when an open forum. But hopefully I didn't scare you. But I really love my community.
Not too many. I'm from the hood. Not too many people scare me.
I know you're from New York, man, but we in Omaha, Nebraska, man. We're from the land of Malcolm X.
I appreciate this open door, and I mean you're doing a tremendous job, and just your passion and perseverance and getting this going. I applaud you, and we certainly want to do what we can to support and help you. He's kind of like my intermediary henchman on a lot of things.
Okay.
So you need something, just holler at him, and you're doing a great job. So don't be discouraged, and we want to see you make it here.
Okay, I appreciate the love, man. I'm telling you, this all starts from a prayer, and one door closed, but God always makes sure another door is open. Every chance I get a chance, I testify because it came from the abstract and now it's in the concrete. So I tell everybody, my mom, taught me about God. Went to the Million Man March in 1995. So that's actually the first time I actually felt God, and so now I'm on a mission to see Him. So I try to do the right thing in order to make sure that happens. So I really appreciate you. I appreciate your henchman, the man,
the director of
That doesn't
military.
even sound right.
the director. Sorry about that. Director of military defense. You know, man, make sure our country is safe. Let me salute you again because, hey, man, I don't want no bombs dropping around here, man.
That's
I'm
right.
as quiet as kept for sure.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, William. Doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Any shots out? I know you got a couple kids out there gonna say, "Daddy, you didn't say nothing about me."
Hello to Sydney and Quincy.
Any shots out?
Erica, Yvette, Jonathan, Sumo, and BA, and Cynthia. Love y'all.
Okay, cool.
Don't forget about Mary Wright.
She's not my kid.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, shouts out to she coordinated everything.
Right.
Yeah, Miss
Right,
Wright,
that's what-
M.E. Wright, Dot.
And she's listening. She wanted me to wave. I waved.
Oh, really?
at her. And
Oh,
so
really?
then she just texted me.
I'm gonna give her an email.
Right.
1690 on the one. We are a community access station. So if you want to start your own radio show, this is why we're here. We're here to manifest God-given words. We're here to behave like Jesus, to teach people how to fish. And that's what we do. We bring solution-based dialogue. Of course, we're going to laugh because the best therapy is laughter with a smile. So we're going to have some fun, but also hopefully we encourage you, and hopefully we gave you a little bit of knowledge. Now, spirituality. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question.
All right, this is the
I
last
thought we
question.
were
This-
done.
Hold on a second. Okay, now they talked about the word end of the world gonna happen last year, right? Now, I look at it from an astrological standpoint. You know, they said it's the end, the age of Pisces. And remember that song, the age of Aquarius?
You might be older than I am.
So they said now this is the age of Aquarius. Well, what does God have planned for us in this age of Aquarius?
Yeah, I don't know about the age of Aquarius and the age of Pisces. I mean, you're too deep for me on that one. You're beyond my knowledge. I would say, I believe the Bible, right?
Right.
And so I believe every promise, every plan, God talks to us in the Bible. And so, if you look at the things that are going on in the world and you look at some of what the Bible talks about that, particularly in some of the prophetic books like Daniel and Revelation, it doesn't surprise you with what's going on in the world. But the best thing about that is, despite kind of the concerns you may have about the things that are going on in the world, you always know God is in control. And so with God in control and with God on your side, and with your hand in His hand, it's going to be all right. As the old folks says, it's going to be all right. I no need to worry, no need to fear. It's going to be all right.
All right. Our ancestors have led us the right way for a long time. And now we're free, and we're trying to make sure that we lead the next generation the same path so they can be even freer. 1690 AM the one. I appreciate you guys. Y'all guys keep your heads up towards God.